Can I ask you something? Have you ever stopped forcing, finally aligned everything in your life and thought, okay, everything should be great, but instead everything feels slower, almost heavier? You're doing the work, but it feels harder than before. If that's you, you're not failing. In today's episode, we're talking about why real alignment actually feels uncomfortable at first and what's happening when your system starts integrating real change. We're taking self blame off the table, amiga, and giving you the language for this hidden phase. But before we do that, I want to say thank you. Thank you to those of you listening on Apple, on Spotify, on Podbean, that is in my website, and on YouTube, especially those of you who have taken a moment to leave a review, to leave me a comment, to send me your suggestions and your messages. I see you, and I am super, super grateful for you, and I'm super grateful that you're taking time out of your life to be with me. If YouTube feels easier for you, yes, friend, I'm there too. Make sure that you're subscribing so that you don't miss any new episodes. And check out my shorts because I sometimes upload shorts there. And I also want to gently remind you that if you've been feeling frustrated with yourself lately, like you need a little bit more direction, especially around growth, around timing, or motivation. She Who Aligns is the self paced space I created to help you understand your patterns, your rhythm, and your alignment through my Align framework. And it is a guided blueprint that it's going to be downloaded instantly so you can print it at your own pace as you go through the steps. Because remember, every step needs integration and it includes bonus audios for nervous system support. I also include a self talk rampage, which I love using, and identity anchoring. And there is a section all about aligned manifestation that you can complete after you go through all the steps. And if you're feeling ready for deeper real time support live with me, especially around transitions or leadership, or if there's something that you're working right now in your life and need a little bit more clarity or direction, my private coaching container is open. And this is where we work together weekly to restore coherence at the level of the nervous system, at the level of identity, and embody action. All of this that I am talking about is going to be linked in the show notes for you. You can go ahead and check it out. You can visit my website and choose whatever path is the one that resonates with you the most in this season of your life. Okay, beautiful soul, let's begin with the podcast. If you're tired of feeling stuck, disconnected, or held back by old beliefs, and you're ready to start living in alignment with your deepest values, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Michelle Marie, spiritual neurocoach, cancer survivor, and twin mompreneur. On Rewired to Align, I share the neuroscience and spiritual practices that help me transform my own life, guiding you to release limiting beliefs, rewire your mind, and step fully into your sovereignty. Are you ready to live in alignment with who you truly are? Let's rewire, align, and manifest. Hi, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Rewired to Align. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Marie, and I am your favorite spiritual neurocoach. And every week we come together here to talk about alignment through neuroscience, spirituality, and other tools that I love to use, like human design, universal law, etc. Because, amiga, real alignment happens when your mental, your physical, your emotional, and your spiritual bodies are in coherence. And if this is your first time tuning into Rewire to Align, I want to welcome you. I love that you are here. There are several episodes that are foundational for you. Episode 1, episode 49, and episode 53. And you can find those in the catalog, and the catalog is linked in the show notes. So make sure that you go back to those episodes and listen to them. And actually, listen to whichever episodes call you the most. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay, amiga, let's talk about why alignment does not feel expansive at first. And you probably are in a season in your life that you've done the healing, you are not in survival mode anymore. Well, at least not most of the time. And you finally stop forcing everything. But instead of feeling aligned, you feel heavy, unmotivated. You're asking, did I break something? Did I do something wrong? Why is this harder now? You feel like you're like in kind of a rut or in a very deep testing phase or pushed to the wall. And I see this constantly with friends, with acquaintances, and amiga in my own life, especially when I am stepping into something bigger. And I am going to be very vulnerable here. I'm going to give you a real example of what this looks like because I am going through it at this moment. My husband and I are in a season of expansion. I don't know if you've heard the previous episodes, like last year's episodes. We closed a business. We had a restaurant business for 20 years here in Miami, and we both pivoted into completely new careers after 50. I'm 52. My husband is 57. I was in real estate for 20 years. We had a restaurant for 20 years that is very well known in Miami. And all of this happened while I was also moving through my cancer journey last year. Everything at the same time, because you know how life is, right? When it rains, it pours. So, yes, things right now feel quieter than they used to. There's no familiar structure. There's no predictable income the way there was before. We're not making the same money yet. We're allowing the new paths we chose to unfold while leaning on our savings and other little businesses that we have and taking aligned action every day because we love what we chose and what we pivoted to. And I want to be very honest. Sometimes that brings fear with it, not panic, but the subtle fear that is like, are we okay? You know, that feeling. You know, we have children, we have a house to pay, we have we have responsibilities. So yes, sometimes that comes into our life. However, because we have done the work and because this is what I do as well, there is deep knowing, this deep knowing that everything is going to be okay. Like energetically, I can feel it. And again, if you have looked at my story, I have had the opportunity to jump into the knowing state several times in my life. I've mentioned this before during my IVF journey, which was very hard and very pressuring to us, during my cancer journey. And at this moment, we have this knowing. We know we're growing. We know something is being built, even if it's not visible yet. This season does not feel like momentum. It feels like a pause, like nothing is moving on the outside. You don't see it. It's not tangible, but internally everything is reorganizing. We're not expanding through force right now. We're expanding through stabilization, through regulating our nervous system, staying grounded, and letting our capacity catch up to the lives we are stepping into. And honestly, that's the part that people don't talk about and why I decided to jump in today to talk about this. That moment when you've done the work, you've made aligned choices, and everything pauses. That's the moment desperation can creep in. And then if you're going through it, you can start second guessing yourself, right? You can start like, oh my God, why did it? Was it the right time that I pivoted into a new career? Was it the right time? When you start reaching for what's familiar because the quiet feels uncomfortable. Yes, it can feel very uncomfortable. In my example, I can say, oh my God, is this the right moment to be pivoting into a new career when I had established myself as a real estate agent? And then reaching to the familiar might look like, oh my God, let me go back to real estate, right? Because quiet feels uncomfortable. No, this is a phase I see over and over again in my coaching container as well. And it's deeply misunderstood. And here's what I want to be very clear about the distinction. You might hear this phase called different things in manifestation or spiritual spaces that you are in social media or in podcasting or in your books, etc., YouTube. They call it the void, the neutral zone. I mean, even the magic dark. In my work, in this work that I do, in my aligned formula, I understand it and call it a recalibration phase. This is a recalibration phase. This is when clarity is already there, but the nervous system is stabilizing the capacity to hold what's next. This is not a test, it's your nervous system stabilizing a higher level of capacity before life reorganizes around it. This is the space where your prefrontal clarity is already there. You know what you want, but the deeper parts of the system are still updating what feels safe to receive. So, amiga, the quiet is not punishment, it's preparation. And if you don't understand that, this is usually where you might abandon alignment. This is where people abandon alignment and default back to what's familiar, back to their familiar behaviors, familiar beliefs, not because you're weak, but because your system has not been resourced to hold the expansion yet. When you've been living in urgency for a long time, right, in survival mode, in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and stress, alignment doesn't show up as more drive. It feels more like your body finally saying, okay, we can breathe now. Your body has been on edge for so long that you might not even realize how tight it's been. I see it all the time. Recently, in one of my coaching sessions, a client told me, well, Michelle, nothing is wrong, but I feel weird. Her life had finally calmed down. No crisis, no fires to put out, no constant pressure. And instead of feeling relieved, right, from all of that, she felt uncomfortable. So without realizing it, she started to look for chaos, overthinking conversations, picking at small problems, having discussions with people, creating urgency where there wasn't any, just to feel normal again, quote unquote. Because when you've lived in survival for a long time, again, calm doesn't register as safety right away. It registers as unknown. So when you finally stop pushing, when you're not in constant problem solving mode, when you're no longer in fight or flight, what happens to your body is that your body keeps waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, okay, I'm here, but something is going to happen. And instead of rushing forward, it slows things down. It gets quieter. It starts catching up. And my friend, I know, I understand that it can feel heavy. And just like my client, and especially if you grew up in constant chaos, a lot of us only know how to move when there's pressure behind us, when there's urgency or something to prove. Let that land and bring a situation that keeps repeating in your life to see if you are in here. And when that pressure disappears, the nervous system kind of pauses and goes, okay, now what are we going to do? And that pause can feel really uncomfortable. But that is not misalignment, friend. It's your body. It's your body catching up to a decision your mind already made. It's a moment of recalibration. This pause actually lives between two phases inside my aligned framework: integration completing and grounding beginning. From a neuroscience perspective, because obviously I talk about neuroscience and spirituality always here, this is the moment when your prefrontal cortex, do you remember your prefrontal cortex? The part of your brain responsible for insight, for clarity, for decision making, for reasoning, this part has already shifted. You know what you want. You're clear on what you want. But the parts of the system responsible for patterning and safety, and I'm going to mention here which ones they are, like your amygdala, which is your fight or flight alarm, the hippocampus, which is the part that stores emotional memory, the basal ganglia, where habits and familiar patterns live, and your autonomic nervous system, which controls whether your body feels safe or on guard. They are still updating their predictions. They're essentially asking, is this new way of being actually safe to stay in? So even though your mind is ready, your body is still recalibrating, friend. Spiritually, this is the phase we call integration, when insight has already landed, but the body and identity are still anchoring the change. This is why you might think you're in the awareness phase, like, I know what I want now and I'm clear. But if you're in this pause, it usually means integration has landed and your system is grounding the change before growth becomes visible. This pause is actually where your capacity for growth expands. Your system is figuring out how to stay regulated while holding more clarity, more responsibility, and more possibility. And if you want a deeper understanding of how my Align formula works and how I guide people through these stages inside my coaching and inside She Who Aligns, I break it all down on episode 53, which I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, and it is linked in the show notes in the catalog, and you can come back to it anytime. In regards to manifestation, this is why it can feel slower in this phase. Think of it like this: you're upgrading your life's operating system. Things slow down because you're expanding your capacity to hold more, not just chasing faster results. It's your nervous system learning to stay calm while receiving. It's surrender, but in a totally practical, grounded way. Remember, manifestation thrives on coherence, not force. And if you're feeling that aha moment right now, check out episode 19 for more on nervous system regulation and nervous system support. Whenever you're ready, it's going to be also in the catalog. This is the work I do with my clients, friend, helping the nervous system feel safe enough to move forward and expand the capacity to receive what's already trying to come into their lives. And we do this work live together in my private coaching container through weekly Zoom meetings where we focus on nervous system safety, identity stabilization, and embodied alignment. And I only take a small number of clients at a time. So if you feel right now that you're in this season in your life and you feel a quiet, yes, I want to work with her, not urgency, just resonance from the heart, you are welcome to reach out. You can DM me. You can reply to the emails I send weekly. You can come into Instagram and Michelle Marie Pacheco, send me a message there. You can come into the Facebook community, send me a message there. And we'll see if I am the right fit to work with you. And if you're more of a DIY person, then She Who Aligns is not just a guided blueprint, it also includes supportive audios for nervous system regulation, identity anchoring, subconscious rewiring. And there's a full section on aligned manifestation, and it's all designed to help your system expand its capacity to receive without forcing. All of this is going to be linked in the show notes so you can explore what feels supportive for you in your own time. When you are expanding, your system needs safety to stabilize what's emerging, or it will default back to what's familiar. This is why people that win the lotto, if they don't recalibrate or stabilize, they lose the money. This is why sometimes we go back to the old patterns. This is why we might manifest or, are not being able to receive that love that we want. So I am going to let you think about this. This episode is here to name what's happening so you can stop calling it a failure or that you're not enough or, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? But orientation is just step one. The real work, learning to stay present in the slowness without rushing past it or collapsing it back into urgency. That isn't fixing your head, it's resourced in your body. So if you recognize yourself here, let all of it sink in, not to soothe you, but to clarify exactly what this season is asking of you. If this episode stays with you, not as an answer of what's going on, but as an awareness, noticing, you're welcome to share it with me. Come to Instagram, which is my favorite hangout. My handle is at Michelle Marie Pacheco. And if you want to reflect this in community, the private Rewired to Align Facebook group is there as a space to be in this work together with other women who understand what it means to move through growth consciously, not quickly. Plus, I go live every Wednesday or every other Wednesday at noon, and I bring different tools and different insights for you, and you can ask me all the questions you want right there. Amiga, listen to me. Growth, it doesn't always feel like you're winning or that you're moving fast. Honestly, sometimes it just feels like you're playing small or settling. But listen, you grow in the quiet, not in the chaos. Your capacity expands when you feel safe, not when you are pressured, when your body and mind are ready. Trust me, when this happens, you're going to move forward. I'm sending you so much love, and I see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard today resonated with you, the best way to support the show is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback helps me continue creating content that empowers you and deepens your spiritual connection. Just scroll down to write a review and share your thoughts. And if you love what Rewired to Align is about, share it with your friends and family. I truly believe the world transforms when we come together to create positive change. I look forward to be with you again next week.